it's the same thing for the second problem as well. So what we want to do is solve for the x squared, so add 25 to both sides. After you do that, you'll have 4x squared equals 25. Divide by 4 on both sides. So you have x squared equals 25 over 4. So that would be where we stop if it's a linear equation. But again, since it's quadratic, we need to get rid of the squared on this x. Getting rid of that is by doing the inverse operation of the square root. So we need to do the square root of x squared. That's equal to the positive and negative of the square root of 25 over 4. Well, we can simplify that because the square root of 25 is 5. Sorry about that. It's 5. And the square root of 4 is 2. So this one boils down to be plus or minus 5 over 2. Okay? You can take care of these next practice problems right here. So the last way that we'll do this is by graphing. When you solve by graphing, what you need to do is look at what's on the left side and on the right side. And what we're trying to find is what x values make the left side equal the right side. The easiest way to do this is what you see up on top. Let the left side be y1, let the right side be y2, and then we'll do second trace intersect, which is number 5. Okay, so in your graphing calculator, go to y equals and do x squared minus 5x plus 2. The right side of this equation is 0, and I recommend you always make it 0. And then go to second trace 5. Okay, and what we're looking for are these 2 points right here. This point right here, where it crosses the x-axis. So we don't care about where it's blinking, that's the y-intercept, but we care about where it crosses the x-axis here and here. We're looking for 2 x values as answers. Okay, so use left and right to move it close to where it crosses. And when you get close, hit enter. You'll see it will change to say second curve. It's asking where is that y equals 0 line. And so it's at the same place. You can hit enter. And then lastly, for your guess, just make sure the cursor is close to where you want and hit enter a third time. So this one gives us a x equals 0.438. So then we can write down that answer of x equals 0.438. So that's the x value where the two lines cross. Okay, which in this case is known as the x-intercept. It's where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, so one more time, second trace intersect, and then go over to the right. Because that's the other place where the two lines cross each other. When you get over to the right, hit enter 3 times. And that intersection is at x equals 4.562. If you would go back to the problems on the previous page and try to solve them in the same way, you would find you get the same answers. So what this shows us is that there's multiple ways to solve the same type of problem. That'll be all that we cover for this. Solve by completing the square, we're actually going to hold off on until we talk about circles. So let's review very quickly. We can solve by factoring from the first page, where you need to set it equal to 0, factor it, and then set both sets of parentheses, both factors equal to 0, and solve each one. So either x is 5 halves or x equals 3. Solving by finding square roots, what we need to do is solve for the x squared, and then take the square root of both sides, include a plus or minus, because, for example, 2 squared is 4, but negative 2 squared is also 4. So we need to make sure that if we know the square root of 4 could be 2 or negative 2, that we include that in our notation with this plus or minus. Lastly, when we solve by graphing, this is maybe the most consistent and quickest way each time. Make sure that everything is on the left-hand side. The right-hand side is 0. That's probably the easiest way. And then you look for where the graph crosses the x-axis. If it's quadratic, it's usually going to be in 2 locations. Alright? Well, now that you have that, you can solve the rest of these practice problems and work on some of the homework for this section.